Imagine this, you're deep in the middle of a dense forest relying solely on your survival skills to make it through. But then, out of nowhere, you encounter something that's neither human nor animal, something that seems to know your every move before you even make it. The 2015 film Man vs. poses the question of whether humans only fear nature, or if they ultimately end up losing while attempting to understand their own fears. The films start off by introducing a man named Doug Woods, a wildlife photographer who also hosts a popular show called Woods vs. It's a survival show where he teaches viewers how to survive in remote forests and desolate areas. If you've ever watched Man vs. Wild, then you'll find this show to be somewhat similar. 2 full seasons of this show have already been released. Some people liked it, but there were certain issues that prevented any major TV channel from picking it up. And now they are about to shoot the 3rd season. If no TV channel buys this one, either Doug and his team will unfortunately go bankrupt. So Doug is currently facing tough times. Actually, Doug tells a joke on his show. Maybe the audience doesn't find his jokes funny, which is why no TV channel picked up the show. Now, Doug and his team have decided to head to the forests of northern Canada, where surviving is extremely difficult. We see Doug leaving home at night. He didn't want to wake his wife and young daughter, but they woke up anyway. Doug's daughter had recorded a video message for him so he could watch it and gain courage while alone in the forest. Meanwhile, Doug's team also arrived there. The team included Jaka, his younger brother producer Bill, and a woman named NG. It was going to be a few hours' journey. On the way, he talks to his team, who seemed quite demotivated. They try to convince Doug that this time he should do something in the show that the audience would like more, something crazy and unexpected. Otherwise, everyone would have to leave the show, which would be disappointing for all involved. Deep down, Doug was also troubled by these things, but he assures everyone that he will make things right. Doug loved playing chess, so during the journey, he plays chess with his brother Terry. Then they all reach a town where they were supposed to meet their tour guide because the area was known to be dangerous. At the local restaurant, they meet Duncan, who lives in the same area and was going to be their tour guide. At the restaurant, Terry advises his brother not to tell his jokes during the show. It lowers the ratings. Hearing this, Doug felt bad. It meant that he really wasn't very good at doing this. After eating, they set off on their journey. These folks are going to take Doug into the forest by boat, where he'll spend 5 days. After that, they'll come back to get him. If he happens to run into any trouble during this time, Doug has a satellite phone that he can use to contact his friends. During these 5 days, Doug needs to record footage of his survival. Everyone was advising Doug on what kind of content he should create this time. They suggested he do more unusual things to make his show interesting, because if his show isn't successful, they'll end up on the streets. Hearing this made Doug feel a bit bad, but he didn't say anything in front of Bone because he didn't want to lose courage before even starting. They had only gone a little further down the path when it suddenly started raining. Duncan explained that you would have to face all these things here. They left Doug at the edge of the forest and then departed from there. Now, as soon as they leave the room, Doug immediately sets up his camera, and this is where the show begins. He opened the bag and started looking at the items inside. His challenge was to survive in this place for a total of 5 days, using only the items that were available in the bag. The bag contained a Tobii camera flash, an energy drink can, an army knife and chewing gum. After this, he needed to arrange his sleeping quarters. He climbed up to a higher spot where he carefully set up a place to build a shelter for sleeping. He wanted to ensure that the spot was safe and comfortable, so he took his time to find the perfect location for his shelter. He will have to do all this before sunset. Now, to build this shelter, he brings some wood from a broken tree with soft branches. Just as he started working, a small piece of wood got stuck under his fingernail, which was very painful. He somehow managed to remove that piece of wood, but this village would continue to trouble him. After some effort, the shelter was ready. With only a little time left before nightfall, he now needed to light a fire to stay safe from wild animals at night. He uses the energy cane to light the fire, ensuring the flames catch quickly. He made an attempt to start a fire by vigorously rubbing the metal part together. After rubbing it for half an hour, he placed it in the direction of the sun so that the sun's rays would reflect off it onto the wood. And with this, he succeeded in lighting the fire. Night fell shortly after, so Doug called his team on the satellite phone, who were enjoying their party. Learning this made Doug feel a bit bad that he was having so much difficulty here while they were having fun. The duck must accept this fact. This is actually its job. Well, that night Duck had to sleep on an empty stomach because he never got a chance to hunt for his dinner. With the warmth of the fire, he fell asleep quickly, but in the middle of the night, there was suddenly a huge explosion that caused the ground to shake for a while. The duck realized it, but couldn't understand anything. He thought it might have been an earthquake, so he went back to sleep. The next morning when he woke up, he saw that something had fallen from the sky, cutting through the forest, and landed in the river. The reason the ground shook. When Duck hurriedly ran to the spot, he saw that all the fish in the water were lifeless and dead. Perhaps something dangerous or poisonous fell into the water, but in all this the push was beneficial. Now he had fish to eat. He was happy, but then he saw a wolf in the distance. It came to the riverbank, but it didn't eat any fish. Instead, it just left without touching anything. The duck realized that the wolf sensed something that the duck itself couldn't feel. This meant that eating the fish might not be safe, so he had to figure out something else. He wanted to inform his team about this because he didn't know what had happened to the river. He attempts to call his friends, but the satellite phone wasn't working either, which led Dak to believe that something else might have fallen during the night, possibly causing the network to go down. The problem was that Duck had been hungry since the night before, so he had to go out and hunt. He set up 3 traps for rabbits in one place so that he could increase his chances of catching a rabbit. After that, he took some footage around. Before evening, he went to check his traps. By that luck, 2 rabbits were caught in the traps. As he was in the process of picking up his catch, his camera unexpectedly fell on its own. At the same time, Duck heard a strange noise. Duck thought it might be the same wolf he had seen before, so he quickly picked up his camera and left in a hurry. Now he had to clean the rabbit for his meal, so he went a little away from the camp to clean the rabbit to keep the wolf away from his camp. He was recording all this for his audience. After returning to the camp, he made another attempt to call his team, but the satellite phone still wasn't working. Then he checked his personal phone, which he was allowed to send messages from, but it also had no network signal. Then Duck watched a video of his wife on that phone, which gave him a lot of motivation. Just then, Duck heard the same noises in the forest as if someone was silently watching him. Duck was afraid that a pack of wolves might come to that place. He quickly ate his food so that he could move on as soon as possible. He found himself unable to take the person who was sitting next to him along with him, so he tells his audience a helpful way to save and preserve their food. He carefully tied the rabbit with a sturdy rope and then hung it from a tall tree branch so that no animal could reach it. Soon it was night, so he went back to the camp and started playing chess alone. After a while, the same strange noises started again, echoing through the quiet night. He tried to look around, straining his eyes in every direction, but he couldn't see anyone. Duck started ignoring those noises. Meanwhile, we see someone taking away his rabbit. So, whoever it is, it's not an animal. Could something be this much of a thing, or is it something else entirely? After a while, it started raining. Duck was putting on a show for the camera, acting like his shelter was keeping him dry from the water. But his shelter turned out to be completely useless, and as a result, Duck was thoroughly soaked. The ground beneath him was wet too, causing him a lot of trouble. Just then, Duck heard the sound of some animal. Hearing this, he got scared. Doug began scanning the area with his night camera, but despite his efforts, he couldn't see anyone. Doug was now really frightened, which is why he couldn't sleep the entire night. The next morning, his body was aching all over, and he was struggling immensely due to a severe lack of sleep. Deep down in his heart, he wanted to leave all of this behind, but Duck knew that this show was far too important for him to abandon. So, pushing aside his pain, he got back to work. Taking his camera, he went to get his breakfast, but when he arrived, he found that someone else had already taken it. Seeing this, Duck got alarmed because he knew that no animal could have done this. So he quickly picked up the satellite phone and tried to call his friends. But to his dismay, the phone wasn't working at all. Doug bravely set up a trap once again. A little while later, when he went to check the trap, he was very surprised to see that someone had already triggered it, meaning someone had taken his prey. When he looked, there was a strange black substance under one trap, with light shining inside it. Seeing this, he was completely shocked. He returned to his supplies, but now he discovered that his satellite phone was missing. Even more surprising was the fact that someone had made their move against him, and they had done so very cleverly too. Now Duck was absolutely convinced that he wasn't alone in this dense jungle. There was definitely someone else out there who was perhaps playing some kind of strange game with him. It could very well be some crazy, obsessed fan. Duck also suspected that it could be someone from their team trying to make this season more exciting. Thinking this gave him some relief, and he decided to light a fire and turn on his camera because he needed some content for the show too. After thinking a lot during the night, he makes his next move in chess. The next morning, he left that place and moved forward because now he had to set up camp at a different location. Going ahead, he found a rock, against which he built a new shelter. After that, he went ahead and lit a fire there, and now he found himself in need of food. This time, he thought of hunting fish, but he couldn't find a single fish in the water. Now he began to search for some small animal in the vicinity, but after venturing a little further, he was taken aback because someone had constructed a shelter identical to his, and had ignited a fire just like him. It was exactly as he had demonstrated in his instructional videos. Someone was imitating him. Now he suspected that maybe a fan was doing all this, but then his eyes fell on his satellite phone, which someone had completely taken apart. Doug became extremely scared. Just then, his eyes went to the carcasses of a rabbit and a BD lying there. The BD was carefully rolled in the exact same way as Doug had taught us. When Doug heard someone's voice, he quickly ducked under a large rock to hide. However, after a moment, he realized it was a huge trap, set up exactly the way he had described earlier. Doug quickly backed away, otherwise he could have been caught in the trap. Doug was scared. He sprinted back towards his camp, where he spotted the chase boat. In that boat, someone had made their next move, and this time Doug realized he couldn't outsmart them. With no other option available to him, he ultimately decided to stay at the camp. He set up 3 cameras strategically around him so that if anyone came near, they would be recorded. As soon as he fell asleep, someone lowered all 3 cameras. The next morning, when Doug saw this, he became even more frightened because he was not safe here at all. So far, he hadn't been harmed, but who knows what would happen next. Whatever it was, it seemed like a big conspiracy. Now Doug had to get out of here somehow because whoever it was, they were watching Doug's every move. Doug finishes shooting the last scenes of his show. Then there was a loud noise and a very strong wave hit him with great force, causing Doug to lose his balance and fall into the water. Somehow, Dag swam to the shore. Blood was flowing from his eyes, nose and ears because the wave was very strong. After wringing out his clothes and putting them back on, he quickly started running away from there. Yes, he just wanted to get out of here by any means. But in all this, he didn't pay attention to the path and fell into a pit while running. He was about to lose consciousness when he looked up. There was someone watching Doug. After regaining consciousness, his condition was very bad. His hand was injured, which he tied with his shirt and then tried to climb up. Somehow, after gathering enough courage, he managed to climb out of the pit and made his way to the place where his friends were staying. Upon finally reaching there, he saw that the place was indeed there. But strangely, no one was visible. Looking around, he saw Terry. He was hanging from a tree, just like Doug had hung his prey in the past. Doug quickly took Terry down, who was still alive. Doug needed help, so he first went inside the building to try to contact someone on the radio for assistance. However, when he came out with the medical kit, he encountered the lunatic who was doing all this to him. And it wasn't a human, but an alien that had torn through the forest and landed on Earth that night. Maybe at first it was trying to learn human behaviors and understand them better, which is why it didn't kill Doug right away. There were also the bodies of Doug's team members, their skins removed. It was all very disturbing. As soon as Doug saw this, the area made the same sound from its mouth again, but this time Ada Gown managed to escape from there. He quickly came up with a plan. He put the alien behind, and he started running towards the 80 pit into which he had fallen a little while ago, and the alien easily got caught in his trap. As soon as it fell to the ground, he quickly threw many leaves on top of it. The alien was buried underneath, and Doug thought it might be dead, so he ran to save Terry. But by then, Terry had also died. Meanwhile, Doug stumbled over their bodies, recorded a final message in someone's name because he was trapped here, and perhaps no one might arrive to help him. Doug opened his daughter's message, which greatly motivated him. He wanted to escape from here at all costs. First, he bandages his wound. After that, he started looking at Mahi lying in the cab. He saw that her house is 6 kilometers away from here. Doug kept moving forward with hope. By nightfall, he reached the location. No one was home, and the news was playing on TV. This is a major twist. In the film, when Doug and we viewers learn that actually, the alien presence hadn't just crashed in this forest, but similar alien entities had already arrived on Earth. All major cities had been destroyed, which is why the government was telling people to leave urban areas. But Doug is already far from his home. Hearing this, Doug became discouraged because it was possible his family hadn't survived either. But he didn't lose hope and set out to save his family. So he was just leaving Duncan's house with necessary supplies and his boat when suddenly a doctor appeared in front of him with a gun. He was telling Doug to leave his boat, but Doug needed to get to his family, so he didn't listen. Before Duncan could do anything to react, an alien arrived swiftly and killed him. Now it was advancing menacingly to kill Doug as well, but Doug, thinking quickly, used the boat's propeller to cut the alien into pieces, thus killing it. However, Doug's attention was then drawn upwards to the sky, where he saw many more alien ships and debris descending rapidly to Earth. And this is where the film The Village is Blind is set.